Hello, I think I determined everyone is a powerhouser. Welcome, powerhousers. Bring
Hello.
your trousers.
Hello.
Back
Hello,
to the
hello.
PowerHouse Fence show. I'm a host, Zach, and this is the
Dan.
host, Dan. Or I'm the other host, however
Right.
that works. Presented tonight by Memphis Fence Company, MFG Manufacturing, and Simpalo. We're live, so you can call in. There should be a
Hold
number
on,
scrolling.
let me stick the number on there.
That
There you
would
go.
be useful. Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Scrolling. I
sir.
got it.
So we got a phone number going. What is the phone number? It says. Am I supposed to ask them?
Hold on.
We want them to
Not-
call in and tell us what the number is.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Because
right.
we don't know. We just put it on there.
All right, cool. I think we do have some old
maybe it
business from our last. We got any funny anecdotes today? Anybody? Anything funny? Not at all.
You're the funny guy, man.
Okay.
Where's
Well,
the crickets?
I like how he introduced the crickets. Yeah, so that's good. Dan and I have been on a ladder for the last couple hours installing new security cameras, which is not too funny. I mean, nothing real funny there.
No, but it was pretty cool.
So that's about it. I mean, it's some pretty cool equipment.
Yeah.
But that's about it. Nothing really too funny. I mean,
Oh my goodness.
So I guess we'll just jump right into old business for the show, and that'll be cool. We got a guest tonight I'm really excited about. I'll introduce him, or Dan will here shortly. I've known him for quite some time. Dan's known him even longer.
Like a few days.
Few days.
Yeah.
Okay.
I keep
I
grabbing
guess-
my mic. I'm like,
let's get into the old business. You know,
let's do it.
business? What do we got?
All right.
Man? What do we got?
so we signed up for Job Nimbus.
Ah, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Did you say Job Memphis or Memphis?
Nimbus.
Nimbus.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Job Nimbus is software.
Which is a type of cloud.
That's
Is that
great
correct?
job, Kenny. This was not rehearsed or anything, but great job.
Yeah, I didn't
So,
even get an agenda. I have no idea what my questions are going to be
Right.
consistent of tonight. So
Right.
it's going to be fun.
So yeah, it's like a project management CRM kind of software that we signed up for, and we've started down the onboarding process, and we're going to try that.
You like how they use the word Nimbus, which is a type of cloud, wherein the other companies are using the word cloud. I think that's pretty
Right.
clever.
Yeah.
I like
And
that.
so I figured out when you're talking to them, they just call it Nimbus.
Really?
They drop the job,
Okay.
so they just
'Cause
refer
it's
to it as Nimbus.
Obvious.
Did you
that
notice
we're
that?
doing jobs?
No, I did not.
Yeah, that guy was like, "Well, in Nimbus." I'm like,
I like that.
"It's interesting." In the clouds.
Right.
But yeah, anyways, so that's really what we got going on. We'll talk about that probably some more coming up when we kind of get into it and really figure out what's going on. I think it's going to take us quite a bit to figure out what all it does.
As that pertains to our few entry shows, our first few podcasts, we were talking a lot about processes and developing processes and workflows and that kind of thing. And so launching into Job Nimbus is just another way that we're kind of trying to refine our process as far as scheduling and workflow, specifically workflow.
Yep.
And
Yep.
then even
Workflow
more
for
job
jobs.
tracking.
Yep.
Which we're excited about.
Yep. So it's cool. It'll like track, leads versus sales. And in fact, he was telling us you can put like custom fields on the jobs and you can track anything that you want as long as you can put it in one of those custom fields. So that's pretty cool. Like you can see how many jobs you do that are new installs versus repairs or modifications or anything like that.
Just have like a running material cost, kind of a ticker type thing, or a bar graph or whatever.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So anything else? We weren't sure if Kenny was going to be here tonight. So I wrote 2 agendas and I put a lot more old business in that other one, but I don't really want to get too far into that.
I'm going to afford Kenny as much time as he wants, really. So, so we said Kenny. Y'all haven't seen Kenny. You've heard Kenny a little bit. I've known Kenny for a while. When I first started Memphis Fence Company, Kenny was kind of doing a little bit of everything.
Let's let the people see Kenny.
You want to introduce?
Let's let him see Kenny.
Like
he's just sitting
he's
here
the
waiting.
man in the shadows, and then we just give the big reveal.
He's behind the scenes, and we're just going to talk the whole time.
You guys are funny.
Enter Batman.
Yeah. All right. Let's see
and
Kenny.
Let's see Kenny.
Hey guys,
there's
how you
Kenny.
doing?
So Kenny is here in studio. There you go. There's proof of that. So he's live with us. We made it here in time, and we're rocking and rolling. So go ahead with your story, Zach. I'm sorry.
I met Kenny
Where are you going, man?
in the iron shop. Kenny was doing a good bit of everything, a little bit of fabrication, whole lot of installation, among other things, equipment repair. And at that point, I believe he had been in the chain link division for some time before that. And really, I had no installation experience at all. So any of my installation and a lot of the equipment repair stuff, just kind of getting in there in the shop, and really some of the skills needed to perform the job as shop foreman, I learned from Kenny. So it's pretty cool to have him here. And Kenny, I introduced one of our new employees in the iron shop to Kenny earlier this week as a guy who, if you need a question answered about anything on the property, Kenny probably knows the answer. If not, he knows where to point.
Just make Kenny your first stop.
Right.
You
right.
got a question about anything, just go to Kenny first.
But don't, because Kenny has a really busy schedule. So, just to observe that. So
I'm never too busy to help somebody out when they ask for help.
Right,
you know that more than anybody.
Well, and that's why we like you so much. So Kenny now is in sales. He started in residential and now has transitioned into commercial sales. And that's my Kenny story. So a really, really good dude to work with, very hard worker. I may be the only person who can keep up with Kenny, just saying. If anyone can.
Zach.
Enter eye roll.
Yeah, just pat himself on the back there a couple good times.
If they've watched this, they know who we are, so they know who my character is. So that's my Kenny. Let's hear your Kenny. What's your version of Kenny?
So I first met Kenny when I was still just I don't even know what I was doing. Something in the field, running around the yard, maybe. I don't really know.
Yeah, first time I saw you, you were barreling in here on a go-kart.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
What year did you start here?
No. The first time I saw you here at the office, you had came up here after work one day and was doing something in the shop, is what you were doing.
Yep. So
and I happened to be in the shop working late, fabbing something. I don't remember what, and that was kind of my first introduction with you.
So I think when I first knew you, you were on Chris's truck.
Originally, yes, I was there for, I don't know, 3 or 4 months.
It's kind of where you started here. Is that right?
Yeah.
Because that's whenever we were doing that job in Rossville.
No. I had already transitioned away from him.
Okay.
And I was in the shop at the time, working with Andre. And I want to say Chris needed help, and we were kind of slow in the shop, so I kind of filled in the help in Rossville.
So you did go out there some?
Yeah, quite a bit, yeah.
Yeah, that's probably one of my earliest memories of you, is that job.
It's a big job.
Yeah. I don't know. I remember when I came and helped you move. I don't know if that was before that job or after that job.
That was well before that job.
Yeah, okay.
That was well before that job.
Okay, so then that maybe is one of the earliest things I remember.
Yeah. Like I said, the first interaction with you, I believe, was in the iron shop. You came to do something. I don't remember what it was.
And what was Dan's responsibilities here at that time?
Didn't have any. He had no responsibilities.
Not here, not anywhere.
Not a care in the world, I promise you.
Yeah, so it may have been, what year did you start here?
2006. July 7th, 2006. Chris is actually the one that found me out. When I first moved up here, I couldn't find a job. I actually came here to apply, and you guys weren't hiring. So I got a job at Sears, selling appliances, because it's the only job I could find.
Before that, you did have background in fence, right?
Yes, in Tampa, Florida.
Did y'all's father own a fence company or do fence or teach y'all to do fence?
No. My summer when I was 15, best friend next door, working for a guy doing roofing, did fencing on the side. He said, we need some help. And Lewis said, I got this guy next door. He's my best friend. Let's get him in here. He's a real go-getter. And worked that summer doing roofing and wood repairs. He didn't touch any chain link. And then the following summer, his father-in-law actually came knocking on my door and said, hey, man, my son-in-law says you're some pretty good help. You want to come work with me? I was like, well, what does it pay? He was like, I'll pay you better than my son-in-law. Cool. So been fencing ever since. I mean, that's kind of how it all began.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, that's fine. I
was trying to talk to Alyssa, but so normally Ilaria is sitting over here as like our producer, pushing buttons. Tonight it's my wife Alyssa. This is her first time, so I'm over here like giving her some eye signals, like trying to tell her to do something and all of this.
So she pointed to the ceiling tiles.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that means.
They need a little dusting. All right. So,
So anyways, you would
Yeah,
you'd ask me a question, and
meeting Chris and applying for a job, and then he saw you. Where were you?
I was at Sears. He walked in. He was looking for a new refrigerator, and he was talking to me. And I saw his orange Memphis Fence shirt, and started talking to him about fence. And then he left, got his refrigerator, came back I don't know, a few weeks later, and I wasn't there. He left a message, called him back, and he said, "Well, give Randy a call. We're looking for I need a helper on my truck." Basically, is what he said. And came down here, and I was dressed. Randy will tell you the story. I was dressed. I had these big hooped earrings in, had a tongue piercing, had a blue shirt on with a tie and dress pants and dress shoes. But he doesn't realize I was coming here before I had to go to my
sales job.
Well, no, I had to go to work when I left here. So I was fully dressed, ready to go to Sears with
nice,
my tie,
nice.
looking nice. And
They say come like you're dressed ready for work. They don't.
and
say
I
what
was
type
ready to
of-
go to my
right.
second
They
job
don't
for
say
sure.
what type of job you're dressed
And
for.
and then he interviewed me, and he was like, I mean, I don't know what his opinion was of me, and
Guess
hired
it
me on the
worked.
spot.
you got the job.
I got the job. Yeah, worked with Chris for I don't know 3 or 4 months, and then
Probably thought
foreman job opened up on the
that
yard,
boy didn't take them earrings out.
which I did. And you know when I took him out.
Uh-huh.
That's a nice story there. Known this guy seems like forever.
That's why I was like, I don't even know what is my earliest memory with you, because you're almost one of those people that have just always been there,
Always been around,
So-
man. Always been around.
But anyways, yeah. So I guess in summer of 06, I was probably working on a wood truck then, because I worked on a wood truck between school years. So it would have been summer of 05, I was on a wood truck. Summer of 06, I was on a wood truck. And
You were with Judd then.
Yep.
You were you know what? I think you're right. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. You were with Judd. But the first time I saw you I want to say you were doing something to your truck in the shop. You were doing
Maybe.
something the first time you walked in, and I was over there working on something that afternoon.
Yeah, I was just curious, trying to solve that mystery. But anyways, all right. So we talked a little bit about how you started in Florida. So do you want to? You had some other experience doing other type of work in Florida outside of fence. Do you want to talk about anything you did down there?
It was never say no.
Yeah.
When something came up, just go do it. Basically. Wow, where do I start at? Working with Wayne was very interesting, doing roofing, because he didn't just specialize in one type of roofing.
Mm.
He did clay roofing, he did tile roofing, he did shingles. I mean, you name it. He could pretty much fix anything, do anything. And he was an excellent tree climber. We would do tree trimming. We would do fence repair, especially when he dropped a limb on the fence. That's kind of where my first fence experience was doing a repair when he dropped a huge limb on the fence. And he's like, all right, go. I'm 15 years old with a permit. And he says, here's my credit card. Go to Home Depot. And I looked at him and said, what? You want me to do what? Yeah, go get
Right.
my truck and go get me some material. I'm like, I don't
Just
know what I'm getting.
Think
You
about
know?
that now, guys. Today they're like, nope, that light is out on that truck. I can't drive it.
I can't
Right.
drive it.
That's
No,
right.
And
I got
you're-
tail light out. I can't go anywhere.
That's right.
Yeah, so just nervous as can be. And it was just never say no. When you get into fencing, there's a lot of things you're gonna get into. I did some handrails with him, some basically bolt together handrails. First
Mhm.
experience with handrails, had no idea what I was doing, and he just said, "Neither do I. We're gonna figure it out together."
Yeah.
So that's what we did. We
Sure.
just
I-
got out there and just started putting it
That's-
together.
That's about as good of an attitude as you can have, I think.
Yeah.
Like, nope, I don't know how to do it, but we're gonna go figure it out and we're gonna get it done.
And
Yeah, I
that's
think,
exactly what we did.
Yeah.
Wayne
I'd
Wayne
say-
would never turn down a job, and his father-in-law Walt, who had me eventually work with him, full time. It was the same way.
Yeah.
He'd go wherever the job was. We'd go to Kissimmee, St. Cloud, Daytona, Miami, Orlando. I mean, it didn't matter wherever the job was.
Mhm.
And let's talk about. I want to touch bases on tools. Okay, Memphis Fence has some of the best tools. Okay, compared to how I first started fencing. Okay, we're out there in Kissimmee or Fort Myers, Florida, doing a job at an airport, thousands and thousands and thousands of feet, and we're out there with a beaver, digging holes with a beaver. Planes going overhead, no bathroom in sight, and we're out there using a pipe cutter to cut rail. I mean, he didn't have a bandsaw, a generator, or a welder. I didn't know what a welder was. Had welding experience in high school, but he did not have a welder on the truck.
Mhm.
And man, you don't want to talk about old school. I mean, we didn't get a bandsaw until right before I quit working for him. It was pipe cutter, pipe wrench, and if you were trying to bust holes in the asphalt, it was a sledgehammer and an axe. That's what we used to
What?
bust holes. Yes,
So when
And-
you say a pipe cutter, you're talking about the one with the wheels that you
Yeah,
tighten
like a
down
rigid-
and spin
yeah.
around.
So if you set
Golly.
it, so the rule is that post is getting set to height.
I'd imagine
Okay,
so.
yeah, that post is getting set to height. Okay, because
Right.
you don't want to be up there in a ladder or up there above your head, cranking that bad boy down and just going to town trying to cut 2 inches off the post. And he wouldn't let it ride.
Yeah.
No. That post had to be cut off. It had to be
Right.
cut the height. It had to be right. He would never cut corners on a job. I mean, it's
Good
great work ethic. Walt had the best work ethic.
Yeah. So were you doing fence full time for Walt?
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
was it a little bit of everything?
Well, he mainly did fencing. So the first summer I worked with when I was 15, I was doing fencing and roofing with Lewis and Wayne. And then the second summer, Walt actually came to my house and said, "Hey, I want to put you to work this summer." So I went to work with him, and it was mostly residential, a little bit of wood, maybe 1 or 2 commercial jobs that summer. Nothing I'd say that stands out to be memorable. It wasn't until the following summer when I started working with him full time that he started traveling. He started traveling. That's when we were going to Daytona and Miami,
all around Florida.
All around Florida. He would chase the money, Fort Myers. I mean, just chase the money, chase the fencing, wherever it would take him.
Right.
Staying in hotels. I mean, if it was an hour drive, we were driving back home, but an hour and a half, Walt said it's a hotel. We're staying in a hotel because we're going to get up at 5 o'clock. We're going to be on the job site at 6, and we're going to be leaving at 3:30, 4 o'clock. He's like, I want 1,000 feet set before we leave. I want 1,000 feet stretched and tied off before we leave.
So what'd y'all do after lunch?
Drink beer. That's about it. I mean, it was an experience, but he had a really hardcore work ethic that I think he instilled on me.
Sure.
Just like both my parents had great work ethics. My dad would worked at a battery company, Johnson Controls, and he would work an 8-hour shift and take on a second 8-hour shift without blinking an eye. If it's offered to him, he's taking it. He's working it.
Right. Yeah. So how long were you in Florida? How long did you work for the first guy, and how long did you work for Walt? Like, kind of, what was the time frame when all of this was going on?
Working with him I worked with Walt for about 3 years. And then I got into a really good friend of mine, Pat, got me into doing rescreening. So I veered away from Walt because the money was better.
That was like the screened in patios or
'cause
porches or something.
in Florida,
Lanai's everywhere.
Lanai's everywhere,
Yeah.
Porches. I mean, you had everyone has a pool cage.
Right.
Everybody has a pool cage. Some of them are 2 stories high. So me and Pat, we would go out and we started off. I was working with him and his uncle Scott at first, and we were up doing rescreening, repairs, golf courses. Oh man, golf courses, holes right through the roof. You know what I mean? Golf balls all in the pool. Did that for probably about a year and a half, and then moved up here and started working here shortly thereafter.
Yeah. So you worked at Sears a little bit doing appliance sales in there, and then was just dumb luck that Chris walked into Sears needing a refrigerator.
Now, mind you, I'd already Memphis Fence was the first place I applied at.
Oh, so you'd already
I'd
applied
already
before
applied
that.
here. Yes.
Okay.
I'd already applied here first.
Okay. So that's kind of was your segue into the conversation with Chris when he was there.
Yeah.
And then you talked to him for a bit and came up, talked to Randy, and got hired on. And
Pretty
then you
much.
went on Chris's truck.
Yep.
And so you were there for a bit. And then did you go from being on Chris's truck to on the yard? And then
positioned up on the yard. It was more hours because Chris liked to work from 7 to 3:30, 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I really wanted more hours. I was really striving to try to make some money, and it was better hours. So went ahead and started working the yard. Did that for a few years, and then got over into the iron shop with Andre. And
well, hold on. So on the yard, were you initially a helper on the yard?
No, I went directly from being a helper on the truck to being the yard foreman.
Okay. So that was your step into being yard foreman.
Yes.
And then from there, you went into the shop and
Yes.
started
So
working.
what ended up happening is your dad saw me pretty much every day getting off Chris's truck and then going to work.
Yeah.
I'd end up in Noe's shop, filling gates, or in the vinyl room cleaning up, or down in the bottom of the pit down there cleaning up, throwing trash away, reorganizing. They James and Billy would unload trucks or be loading customers, and I would be back there just swapping out material and helping them load customers, pulling fittings for them. And he noticed I was just a real go-getter. So he offered me the position. He's like, I need somebody who's young, impressionable, and I want them to clean up my yard.
Yeah.
And so he thought I was a good fit.
So after you had been on the yard for a while, got it cleaned up, how did the yard then compare to what it looks like now?
No comment. But you got to remember, back then there were 3 of us.
Yeah.
There were 3 of us working the yard. It's a lot harder for one person to keep up with all of it.
Right.
It really is. It
3
really
people.
is.
So
That's
3
what we're
people
getting
on the
And
yard.
we've only had one guy for what?
a long time.
8 years now.
A long
9
time.
years. We've only had one yard guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can't keep up with all of it himself.
Yeah. So we've had a couple of helpers come in and then they're here for a bit and then gone.
It just don't work out. That's not what they want to do. They don't want
Yeah.
to be on a truck or travel. But the way I look at it, it's steady hours. It's good money. It's good, honest work.
Yeah, but man, it's crazy. People don't want to be on the yard.
That's right. That's
You know,
right.
it's so crazy. Everybody when they come in off the truck, they're like, "Nope, it's time to go home. I got no interest in hanging around."
And
here."
Right.
I don't understand that. There's so much around here to stay busy.
Oh yeah,
Picking up trash, throwing stuff in the dumpster. I
man.
mean,
If it's raining or a wet day, whatever, I mean, you can at least get a day in.
yeah, exactly. But
You know?
you if you're gonna do that, you're gonna end up standing over them, trying to keep them busy because their minds get to wondering, what can I do at home? What's gonna be more important to me? And then they kind of working their way out the door.
Check on this Candy Crush real quick.
But
So I think that's kind of become more and more of a pet peeve here recently is just like trying to clean up. I know Zach, you made some comments about it a week or so ago, and
Some today.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's
even on his iron side right now, they stay so busy. When do they have time to get back there and
so
clean up that
they've
area?
cleaned some over there. It's better than it was, but I
Awesome.
mean, it's still, man, it's a full-time thing just trying to like clean.
Mhm.
It's
It
crazy.
is.
But yeah, like I said, I think that's kind of become more and more of a pet peeve deal. And I tried to hire. You remember when I got like 3 temps, and I think one of the guys showed up for like 1 or 2 days, and the other 2 never even showed up or
Never even
anything.
showed up,
Yeah,
yep.
it's crazy. But anyways, all right. So you went in the shop and you worked with Andre.
Well, okay, so it kind of started out where Andre was needing some help.
Yeah.
We were really starting to pick up in the shop, and he walked up to me one day. We were across the street in a break room eating lunch, and he said, "Kenny, do you know how to weld?" And I said, "Yeah, I know. I'm not the best at it, but went to school for it. Yeah, he said, come in the shop, let's give it a try." So, of course, his English has not always been the best, but steadily watching him the way he works, you just kind of don't really talk to him, just kind of follow in line with what he's doing and kind of to let him direct you.
Yeah. If you want to learn from Andre, you just got to observe.
You got to observe
and pay attention.
Which is very hard. It's very hard because he would move so fast. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And you don't want to stop him because it would upset him because he was a production man.
Yeah.
I need to get production done, to get this stuff out, to get it installed, to make money. He's a production man. That's what was important to him.
Zach, do you want to tell your favorite story about Andre in production? The one of me and him.
Oh, that's your favorite story. I never want to hear it again.
I know me and him at one point.
Here's another one.
We did 3 days of prep of welding caps, welding finials,
Right.
Filling everything up, punching channel, and then we sat down on one table with 2 welders and busted out, I think, 90 panels in one day.
Right.
Just-
Jan's
just
story is
fabulous.
75 before lunch.
73.
75. It was 75. Now,
And
No,
now
no,
it's
no.
73. See, the numbers will change.
73.
And then 6 months from now it'll be 100 and something.
But we did go to lunch at like 2:00. So, I mean, there is that. But yeah, it was aluminum as well. So, I mean, that's a little easier. But we built 73 and then we went to lunch.
Yeah.
So that's
a good
pretty,
day.
Pretty good day.
That's a good day.
me and Kenny pumped out some panels out of there.
Yeah,
too.
we did.
All that Graceland stuff.
Yeah.
We knocked that out.
That stuff is fun, man. Getting 2 guys rolling, having a jig set up,
Mhm.
and working
And
2 on one table.
We're using that flip jig.
Ah, yeah.
I know you didn't like that thing, but that's what we were using, and we built
Worked
all those
pretty good.
panels.
It was handy.
Yeah.
It was definitely handy, especially not having to lean over as far.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It definitely gives you easy access to the.
Oh yeah.
So what we're talking about is we had it. So when Kenny keeps talking about the shop and Andre and all that, that's our fabrication shop. And in there we had a table set up where it would be level, but then the whole table tilted down. And so we would, put the channel and the pickets and all that, clamp it down, weld the bottom,
No. You welded the top first.
flip it down, weld the top, stand it up, weld the bottom, take the panel. So either way, instead of having to reach over to the bottom side of the channel, you just flipped it down and you kind of just bent over, and the bottom of the channel was right there where you were welding it. But That was that's
And
what
it
we're
was kind of
talking
a
about.
stiff table, so didn't really have to. I mean, a little bit of force would push it down, but it would stay level if you just kind of left it where it was. But yeah, you would roll the top channel, tilt it down, get the middle one, and then tilt the back up where it was comfortable for you, and just weld them on down.
Yep. So, all right, and then so you learned a little bit about fabrication in the shop from Andre, helped him,
Yes.
and then you wound up on a truck, running a truck doing installs for iron.
Yes.
And
That happened really quick thereafter.
Yeah.
Once I caught on to what he was doing after a few months, he basically said, "I want Kenny in my shop full time.
Hey,
I don't want him going anywhere else."
Josh commented. He said, "What's going on, guys?"
Well, hey, Josh.
So Josh is tuned in, listening to us.
Pipe down. We're in the middle of a podcast.
Yeah. Sorry, I just jumped in the middle of Kenny's story there to talk about
I'm
Josh.
just kidding. That's cool. No, we like when people chime in, man. That's cool. Welcome, Josh.
So Josh also works here with us. He's one of our crew leaders or foremen. So, but carry on. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. So yeah, it was shortly thereafter, getting in after working with Andre to just starting to do installs, and it's a lot of fun. It really is.
Yeah.
Customizing fence. It's a real, whenever you're watching those videos and they have the sand, like the moon sand in a cup, and then they take a knife and they cut it.
Mm-hmm.
There's no better feeling than going out on a job site, setting posts, pulling dimensions, and then having it built in the shop by a master builder, and going out and everything fits in place like it's supposed to.
A master builder.
Yeah, master builder.
I like that.
He just a master at his craft. Okay, you couldn't beat Andre in the shop. I don't care if it's down rails, handrails, spiral staircase, didn't matter what it is. He could do it all. Awnings, I mean, aluminum didn't matter. Remember when we're doing the stainless in there? Okay, I mean, Andre could do it all. Okay, he's just a really good mentor to pay attention to. He really, really is. So, yeah, man, it's no better feeling. It's like that satisfaction whenever the last panel goes in. It's like, am I going to have to trim a 1/4 inch? Am I got to trim 2 inches? And it just fits perfectly. Just get it in there, weld it, and start priming, painting, get the gate hung, and everything works like it's supposed to. I mean, me and Zach built some really good custom gates that went with a messed up driveway and left a 2-inch gap all the way around, and the uprights were set perfectly. But the two sides were different. So one side was 72 and the other side was at 68. And then the bottom of the gate kind of contoured with the ground.
Yeah.
It still had a perfect 1.5 inch gap in the middle.
Keep little Fido in there.
That's what it was. Yeah. She had this little tiny dog or whatever, and it turned out wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I mean, a lot goes into it. I mean, it's not just go out there and just
do a lot of prep and thought. And I mean, all of that stuff has to be thought out if it's going to work right.
That's right. That's right. And sometimes you won't even think about it then. Sometimes it's 2 hours later or the next day, like, oh, I got this idea.
Hey,
let me go back to the job site. Let's work this problem.
Were you the guy that tried to burn down the college?
It was not a college. Yeah, that was me. That was me. Okay, so I had a guy with me, and I put him on fire watch. Okay. And we
learned those words after the fire.
No.
Wait a minute.
I said, I'm not going to use his name. I'm not going to use names here. I put anyone down.
It rhymes with this guy's name though.
We share a name, I think. Yeah.
No, it wasn't him.
Okay.
It wasn't him. This was before him. This was before him.
Okay.
Or right around the time he left. Anyways, I go to the college to replace 2 panels. We get the first panel in, and before we get there, pull out the fire extinguisher, put him on fire watch, and he says, I tell him, I said, look, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to attack this panel over here against the column, the plate there. And I'm going to attack it over here. And then we're going to weld it up, stay on fire watch. It's dry like it is now. It's hot.
Yeah. The grass was like brown.
Oh, it was brown.
Yeah.
So I get the panel all tacked in. Are we good? Oh yeah, we're good. And he's watching the ground, welding the panel. And all of a sudden I feel tap.
Here comes that Candy Crush
tap. Again. Kenny, what is it, man? Hey, Kenny, what is it, man? He said, you got a fire down there. I said, where's the fire extinguisher at? That's what it's for. I turn around to grab the fire extinguisher. It's out. It's empty. It has no pressure in it. I was like, oh my God. I threw it to the ground. I said, go get the water cooler. And I grabbed the panel I just tacked in place and just popped it off the welds. He said, bring it here. He brings it. And as I'm throwing it up in the air, wind comes. And I'm like, oh, call 911. Just call 911. He said, well, I said, it's over with. I mean, it burnt. I mean, it burned an area as big as this office.
Yeah.
There was nothing I could do.
Yeah. So the fire department for real came out
had to
there
come out and put the fire out.
The fire.
Yeah. But it was grass. It didn't hurt the building. It didn't leave any scorch marks anywhere. It was just a really large area that was burned.
Yeah, just got the grass.
It was a very well manicured grass. Okay, let me tell you, not even a grass clip in there. It was just the grass that got burned.
So Josh said that's not the only time that happened with you.
He's no, it is. Well, technically, I was with Steve when that happened. I'm gonna blame that one on Steve. That one was not my fault. I was on the other side of the fence.
So you were the guy on fire watch the next time.
Yeah. Well, I think we were. Are we allowed to name places that we were at?
Yeah.
Are we allowed to?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess
a business. Sure.
Yeah. So we were at the Liberty Bowl.
Yeah. That's cool.
Okay.
And there was a pretty big section that caught on fire there. I was on a ladder on the downhill side, and Steve was on the other side, and we were passing the welder back and forth, welding up panels
on the wall.
Went. Yeah, on the wall.
Yeah, we could write like a short coffee table book about all the mishaps from the Liberty Bowl.
Oh,
I mean, that was.
You know what happened? Let me tell you how we got to that point. So this was
King Kong gates, mind you.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we had some 30-foot wide by 15-foot tall double swing gates on that job. So there's a 7-foot tall iron fence that runs around the top of a wall. And then at the holes in the wall, the gates are full height and they run across the, at the same height as the fence that's on top of the wall. I explained that terribly, but
the wall actually varied. It was 5 foot high in some places,
terrible
6
job,
foot in another. So some of the gates would be 13, some would be 14 foot tall.
So the key part is the gates were really tall. Okay.
So 6-foot block wall, 7-foot tall fence.
Yeah,
is basically what we're getting.
Yeah,
okay,
something like that. So I know that was painful.
I did that for me,
so
mostly for me, but also for the people watching. Hopefully,
so here's how we got to this point. All right, this was back in like what 09 or something like that.
Had to been.
So I went in the office in 08. All right, and by 2009, I still had no idea what I was doing at all. And this job I had bid.
So not much has changed since then.
That's right.
Okay,
that's right. I mean, I've just been here longer.
Gotcha.
So I bid the job. And then when the job was sold, it was like, okay, cool, get it done. And I was like, what? And I mean, it was a big job. There was like couple thousand feet of iron fence on that job.
Don't even get me started about the rings we had to change out because they didn't like the rings that we used.
Like I said, a small coffee table book could be written about all of the mishaps.
We were out there cutting all the rings off the fence. And
so
we had to grind them down so we couldn't get them on the right size.
So we had to hire someone else to build the fence, right? So we sent Bubba, took all the material to some other guys down here in North Mississippi, and they built 150 panels. And instead of centering the rings in between the channel, they dropped them down and set them on top.
And but that isn't the bad part. We still had to change them out for cast rings,
right?
Because they were just tube, half-inch tube. That isn't what they wanted. They wanted cast rings.
Yep. So I had to go out there and cut all of the rings out and then weld them all. We need to quit
nickel rods.
We need to quit talking bad about how terrible we did. And it was kind of cool.
But you know what?
And you could stand there, like when you were welding those, you could hear ting, 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 where all the welds were breaking and the rings were just falling back out. It was terrible.
Think about the learning experience. And then at the end of the day, it was all done right.
Oh, we really learned that I had no business managing a job is what we learned.
But it was done right at the end.
Yeah.
Yes, it was a ton of work to be done. I mean, we were out there
to
till
go back and start touching it all up. And start
well,
over.
we ended up sending someone out there to paint the whole fence when we were done.
Oh, they are doing a big old renovation.
Yep.
And we might be looking at doing some of that. Maybe we'll be a little bit more equipped.
I think a part of that
20 years later,
a part of that renovation said to like match existing fence. And I'm like, how about we do a little better this time?
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. So we've had some fun experiences, but
so Kenny, did you ever you mentioned doing welding in high school. Did you ever think about like, I'm going to become a welder, or did you have any sort of aspirations for a career outside of fence in the construction industry?
I think everything happens for a reason, to be honest with you. I think I'm where I'm supposed to be at.
Sure.
To be honest with you. I kind of get into welding. I had this really, really good friend growing up named Landon, and his dad was a welder, and he had several conversations with me. This is, right before we started high school. And when I got into the welding program at Tampa Bay Tech, and he said, look, there's travel, there's so much to it. You can have a lot of fun welding, you make really good money doing it. You can support a family with it. And that was one of the things my dad really wanted for me growing up, was to be able to find a good, decent job to support myself and my family with.
So you were kind of from high school age geared basically towards the trades. Like that's kind of where you
That's
were
where
headed.
I
You
knew
weren't
I was
like
gonna end
Kenny
up at.
McKernan's going to college to be a whatever.
Well,
I don't even know what people
to be
go
honest
to
with you, I
college
didn't
to
think
do.
college was going to be an option for me, to be honest with you.
Right.
I couldn't pay
right.
attention
Sure.
in class enough.
I feel that.
I can focus on fencing really well, but when it came to the classroom, I fell short. I really, really did. I was not the best in the classroom.
I hear that.
I was not the best model student,
Wait,
Right.
what'd you say? That was a joke because you were talking about paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good one. So
Thanks.
where we're edging up against now is kind of seeing that in the trades. I don't know. You and I have talked a little bit about it, but we talk a lot in the office about our workforce and employing and trying to get younger people and the inability to hire young guys who stick with this. And like, guys in our age group, I mean, there are a lot of us here now that, are getting older and we need younger guys to come on in, so that's what we kind of get into is like, how do we get younger guys? What was important to you that got you in and kept you in, which we already kind of talked about that, but like, what would you say, or what is your insight on how we could appeal to say high school age dudes and get them into the trades?
I mean, if you've got somebody who's book smart, they're not going to be a fence man. They're not going to be somebody that goes into a trade school.
So
I mean,
think there's some anomalies, but yeah, I would agree.
Let's say 80% of
man.
them's not going to be. All right, so let's just say 80% of them is going to probably do really well working at a desk and probably have a small shop in their garage and possibly explore and do other things. Okay, working on cars, have good hobbies and so on and so forth. It is for me and a lot of the people that I run into in this trade are people that, had serious ADD problems when they were kids and needed something to focus that energy and focus something they were passionate on. I'm not saying that as the cure all is, let's go find some guys that are,
give us your ADD.
Give us your ADD kids. But
we're going to go to
the. Hold on. I'm speaking from my
right.
personal experience that a lot of the work that was hands on was really good for me. Is what I'm trying to.
Me too, man.
Say. It just and that's why I bring it up because
yeah.
you both were pretty bad ADD.
So we just need to go to the pharmacy.
Yeah, right.
Get a registration of I guess just give me a list, okay? I need this guy. I need this guy. He's 19. Let's put him to work. I'll put him in the shop.
Right.
But no, I mean it's just get him eager, get him in the door, keep it interesting. Okay, that's the main thing.
That says Adderall.
If you
we'll just lure them all to the fence company. Come get your Adderall. I mean your fence job.
Whatever. But no, I mean if keep it interesting. So when I first started fencing and welding, it was always something new. It was a different location. It's a different place. If you try to get somebody in a shop and they're punching channel every day for 6 months, they're not going to stick around. It's not about the money. It's just so boring to them.
Oh,
I mean,
can you imagine what your leg would feel like if you punch channel for 6 months?
And your shoulders slide.
Standing on that one leg the whole time
working
that pedal? No.
But keep it interesting. I mean, I think that was a big deal for me with fencing because it's always a different location.
Yeah, and it's a new challenge all the time too.
Every time you're going to run into something new.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's how do you adapt? It's how do you figure out the problem and not cut a corner and make sure it's done right? Because you definitely don't want to call back.
Right.
That's my number one. You used to talk about peeves is callbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I hate that. If it's something that can be avoided, can be planned out ahead of schedule. Okay. Take a moment. This is the king of callbacks, by the way, guys. Okay. King of callbacks.
We had a guy that worked here before you that was nicknamed the comeback kid. So I don't think Zach never earned a nickname. So
no.
No. I don't want to get into me, but what I've been experiencing with some of the crews or our install crew is this work right until 3:15 and then go back to do an hour's worth of work tomorrow. We never did that.
No. There were times we'd work till midnight.
Right. Because we're going to finish the job in this amount of time. That's way tomorrow we don't have to use the resources of loading the truck and their drive time and allocate all that to the job.
Like I said, a lot of that has to do with drive. Some people just don't have the drive, and
they don't make them like they used to. Folks.
Sometimes you got to wing those ones out. You have to.
And I do want to compliment y'all. I don't know if you can hear me. Do want to compliment y'all. when we were talking to Job Nimbus yesterday, he said, all right, well, do y'all want to set up like a callback or what was it called? A warranty, maybe? Warranty calls and repairs. But in my head, I was thinking, we were thinking chain link or commercial. I was thinking, y'all really don't have any. And that's a big testament, I think, to you and Randy and, of course, all of our crews as well. Y'all really don't have any callbacks.
We have some of the best guys in the business, especially our foremen. They're some of the best. They were trained well. They're experienced. They if they see a problem, they'll call and they'll say, "Hey, look, I think I've got a better idea. Is it okay if I do this instead?" Yes. If it's going to get the job done, it's going to get done right and keeps from a call back. Get it done. And a lot of times they don't even call. But if it's something they're kind of hesitant about, they want to ask permission instead of forgiveness. Yeah. And I really, really cannot stress how amazing our guys are.
And I think we kind of share that quality in the whole company. That's like, we're here to make money, but we want it to be done right when we leave.
That's right. That's right. And it really is a big deal, believe it or not having callbacks and having that, relationship with all your vendors and just know that they can count on you to do a good job. Cause that's how you're going to get to go back to that place and do more work, is by doing the job right the first time.
So I see you keep looking at this whole list of questions, and we've done none of this. It's just kind of organically flown, and we've touched on
it's because you didn't send me the memo. It's all your fault.
Well, except we're talking about it. That's the cool part, is I don't have to pull bullet points because we're actually working through it.
I kind of like the way that we're just going.
So I think what he was just talking about is part of taking pride in something bigger, talking about establishing relationships, not only with the customer, but with your team and that network, and how that is taking some pride in Memphis Fence Company. One of the questions here is, why have you stayed at Memphis Fence Company? Another is, have you ever experienced moments where you felt like you were part of something bigger? And you just said that.
Yeah. We have a great team. Randy's been one of the best mentors that I could have ever dreamed of having, to work alongside him. He has really shown me a lot as far as, and he's helped me out more than just on the job.
Right.
I mean, he's always a guy who's always been there for me, and he instills that on his men, and it shows. And that's something that keeps you around.
Almost
having
like
somebody
a bit
you
of
can
a
depend
paternal
on.
Figure, essentially. I mean,
exactly.
I get that vibe from Randy.
he kind of does. He kind of does in a way, and it's very present with everybody that works here. He tries to help out everybody equally. And like I said earlier to you, whenever you come and ask me a question, you always ask me if I'm busy. What do I always say? Not too busy. What do you got?
Right.
What do you need?
No,
okay.
Yeah.
I was
thinking of Kenny's catchphrase.
Not
too busy.
Not
What
too
do you
busy. What do you
got?
need? We know,
This is Kenny.
you know,
Not too busy. What do you? Just kidding.
That is something that I
never
learned.
know. How about that? You never say.
You never
no.
know. You never
no.
say no. But you learn that from someone. You learn that from somewhere.
Sure.
And so you and that's the way it is with our team. You can walk up to any of our guys and say, "Hey, look, I need a hand." And no matter how busy they are, they're probably going to stop no matter what and give you a hand with whatever you need.
Sure.
So how cool is this? So from an employer's perspective, how many times would you ever sit down and have these kind of conversations with your team members? Outside of this podcast is a great setting to be able to do stuff like that. I don't know that I would ever sit down and have one-on-one conversations with all. We started with Randy, now Kenny, and we're going to keep this going and just kind of get that kind of stuff out of them. So anyways, just kind of a.
Well, we don't share our personal lives with each other. We work,
Right.
we're here from sun up to sundown some days, and we go about our business.
I don't want nobody thinking I'm soft now.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. I get the wrong idea. God dang it.
So I do have a question. We've kind of touched on this, what got you in the fence industry and all of that. And so I guess when you came to Memphis Fence, what were your plans, long-term plans? Did you have any long-term plans? Did you know that you were looking for a place to make a career out of?
I knew early on that fencing was the only thing that I thought that I was good at, to be honest with you. So I really wanted a career in this. And I always thought that if I just worked my tail off and proved myself, that someday I'd make something of myself, which is what I wanted.
Yeah.
And I've tried really hard to do that.
And so we've talked a lot about where you've been. At what point should we talk about what you do now?
Now sounds good.
Now's good.
I mean, why not?
All right.
I
Okay.
kind of alluded to it in the beginning.
Yeah.
but let's hear it from Kenny. What do you do now, Kenny?
I'm just a commercial
You
salesman.
work for Memphis Fence Company?
That's right.
I mean, you got on the shirt.
Yes, I got on the shirt.
Don't.
You know, I'd say I have
if
a
you say
hat, but I
just-
don't have a hat that matches the shirt. So,
If you say
Wait a
if you
minute.
say just a commercial fence salesman, I'm gonna bust you out. Kenny is way more than that. I
no,
mentioned
guys, no.
ask Kenny the questions. Kenny is also our unofficial equipment and maintenance manager. Whether
That's a stretch.
not that
Uh,
who else is doing it?
uh,
I'm not doing it.
That's kind of a stretch.
I think the shoe fits, man. I think the shoe fits.
Which
Well, I don't. To be honest, I don't just do it for me. I do it for the guys. I mean,
Well,
when the
right,
guys, when the
that's
guys
right.
need something, they're like, hey, look, I need some help with this. This is broke down. We need to fix this, and I
sure.
try to facilitate helping them out because when stuff goes down, it costs us time, costs us money.
Yeah.
So the
And
best thing to do is
we
just get them
definitely
up
don't
and
want that.
running. We don't want that.
We want that money.
You
Well,
don't,
and
you don't
you-
want to stop the show now. Okay.
and
No
you
refunds.
mentioned-
Okay.
Yeah.
No refunds after the show, whether you're satisfied or not. Okay.
You mentioned the communication with the guys, which
Yes.
that's project management. So you got some project management stuff going on there, responsibilities there.
Yes, yes.
Going out to the site.
Yeah. So, again, I'll mention it again. Me and him work together. So he
Right.
sends me out. He takes the calls. He gives them to me. I kind of set my own schedule. And my goal, something that he has taught me, is to when I get the call, make contact with the customer, find out what they want, see if I can see them that day, try to meet their needs, and get them their price as soon as possible.
All right. So
That's-
Kenny
that
is not
is-
even telling you the whole story. Like, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, he was telling me that he got a call from Randy, says, hey, so-and-so wants you to come out. I don't like this whole name dropping thing, but it was at a place that sells fishing gear, we'll just say.
Okay.
And they're also in a triangular shaped building. But anyways,
You mean Bass Pro at the Pyramid?
no. It's
Oh.
another triangle shaped building.
Okay.
It's in
Okay.
Memphis. That's
Yeah,
right.
but it rhymes with that. So, anyways, Kenny says he got the call, and I mean, like 15 minutes later, was on the property looking at the dude's fence. So when he's like, "Yeah, I set my schedule and I try to go see him quick," I mean, I don't even know how to really articulate what that means to Kenny, but I can tell you, there's an example of what it means. I mean, he wants to go see him like immediately when he gets the call, if at all possible, and I think that is a huge part of what makes us successful in that like business to business commercial world is that the call comes in, it goes to Kenny. Kenny's Johnny on the spot and goes out there and gets it. And I mean, Kenny will be here at 4:00 tomorrow morning, writing up work orders to get turned in to get a quote out the door. And like anybody that, well, not anybody, but 90% of the people that Kenny went and saw today will have a price tomorrow. And that's just kind of how him and Randy have their system worked out. And so they run a well-oiled machine and they get stuff knocked out.
It's a template that he has been using for years and it works.
Yeah.
It's not just getting the call and responding fast. It's getting them what they need as fast as possible, meeting their needs. And they really respond positively to that.
Yeah, for sure. It works well.
It does. It
So,
does.
I mean, man, I think if we ever get a phone call and it's like, I've been trying to get somebody out here to look at my stuff, I mean, they probably are calling the wrong company.
That happens a lot.
Yeah.
That happens a lot.
So, anyways, didn't mean to puff
That's-
all that up, but
that's
I
good.
mean, that's the truth of what's going on. So we started with Randy. Now we got Kenny. I mean, they're the two, Randy's VP commercial manager. So Kenny, I don't even know what
Everything
title
else.
to give Kenny.
Well, it
But
just
the
it just
rest
says
of it, I
salesman.
mean-
It just says salesman on my business card. That's all it says.
Right. What are you going to put on there? I mean,
Salesman's fine.
Magician?
Salesman's good. No,
I don't know.
No.
and so I think there was a little bit of talk about Kenny kind of doing maintenance and stuff like that. But as he mentioned, anytime something breaks down, the crews come to Kenny. And, they're like, hey, such and such tool is broken. This piece of junk truck is broken. The skid steer is broken, whatever's broken. And, Kenny, the majority of the time, figures out how to get it to the shop. It needs to go in, finds the shop. Today I got an email on that side-by-side from some person I'd never even heard of. And I had to look at it. I'm like, is this real or is this a spam email? And like, so it was some place that you had like found to take the side by side to that. I mean, I don't even know how you found them, but so that's a big, another part
you meet people when you're a salesman. I mean, you get connections.
Yeah.
I mean,
so that I can definitely vouch for that. This is Josh. I can definitely vouch for that. As being an installer, sometimes it can be as much as even just getting a call today and doing the job tomorrow. Yeah.
He's right.
Yeah.
He's absolutely right.
Sorry, man. I really struggled reading that. I don't know if it just, maybe I need some sleep, but, but yeah. So we, like emergency repairs and stuff like that, a lot of times go look at it today, give them a price today and do it tomorrow.
Yeah. Especially in this city with patch holes. I mean, it's, patch a hole.
For those of you that don't know, we are in Memphis, and
Memphis, Tennessee.
Things are a bit rough.
That sounds important.
Hence the name
to you
Memphis
when you
Fence
say it?
Company.
I've been to other cities and they say, "Where are you from?" I say Memphis. They say, "Where's that?" So, just saying.
Who are you talking to?
I'm talking to you.
Well, I know you're talking to me now. Where were you?
Other places. Boston.
Europe?
I've been in Boston. I've been in Texas. I've been in California.
I've experienced that with like the trade shows in Sao Paulo and stuff. So
when
I
you
figured
go
out
to like North Mississippi and Eastern Arkansas and say I'm from Memphis, that's like the nearest big city. But you go to like Seattle,
just go look at some crime statistics and you'll figure out why people are stealing stuff here.
I guess we're the only ones who are that fixated on our crime.
Right.
Is us. Because we live here.
Everyone else just cares about their own.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Memphis, Tennessee, we have a pretty high crime rate. We a lot of theft, and you guys do a lot of work with like warehouses and places that stock merchandise that people want to steal.
Yeah. You hear a lot of you always hear the term inside job, but in a lot of cases it's pretty obvious. I'm not going to mention, but it's pretty bad.
Yeah,
it really does in this town. It's rough.
Yep.
Rough town to do business in. I can tell you that.
Well, actually, it's a good town. Oh no, it's terrible for a fence business. No one should come here.
Nobody should come here.
Rough town to do business in. You mentioned to me that you encountered some makeshift booby trap on a job. Would you tell us that story? I think that's a good fucking story.
Yes, I will.
Explicit again.
I don't even have that phone
every
on me.
time.
I did it just for her. I was like, this is a good opportunity.
I got a picture of that one. That one was pretty interesting. Oh, I got a call from a repeat customer who has had several holes cut in his fence in the past. So he calls. I get the message. I call him right back. I'm like, I'm pretty close to you. I'll go ahead and swing by. He's like, well,
there you go.
I'm
5 minutes after the guy called, Kenny was there.
I mean, I don't know the time between when the call comes in and when it gets sent to me. Okay. But when it gets sent to me,
10.
Right.
You guys are funny. But no, I mean, it's customer service.
Yeah.
Okay, is what it boils down to.
Oh no,
Good
I'm
customer
100% with it.
Okay. So anyways, get the call. He said, man, I got 3 holes in my fence. I was like, 3 holes, not one? He goes, no, man. They hit me up pretty good over the weekend. I said, all right, man. I'll go ahead and come by and look at it. I'll call you when I get there. Tell me where they are. So I get there and he says, all right, well, he says, pull up to the east side of the property, go around to the viaduct, and that's the first hole. You have to crawl through that hole and walk along the railroad tracks to see the other 2. And I said, all right. So I get a picture.
Okay, so you crawled through one hole in the fence
that was cut, and then he had to
walk down a railroad track to get to the others. Okay.
Get to the other 2.
Okay.
And so I have to open the hole. And when I open the hole, I go to step through. My foot slips on the gravel next to the railroad tracks, and my other leg hit a cable that was in the fence that I didn't see. It was a fishing line, and all of a sudden I heard "pow" behind me, and I dropped to the ground and I grabbed my pistol. Where you at? Step out. You're gonna get shot. I'm freaking out because it just sounded like I just been shot at. Okay, and yeah, I was like, so I'm looking around. I crawl back to the hole, and I'm looking, and I'm follow this. I see the fishing line now. I'm following the fishing line over to a tree. Apparently, there were 2 traps set up, and it was a spring-loaded cotter pin device that had a 12-gauge shotgun shell in it. and he had set it up in case they came back. And when I called him, I said, man, you know, did you set a trap over here? Oh, you didn't set it off, did you? I said, I sure did. He said, man, I forgot to tell you about it. I said, man, now I've had people tell me they've booby trapped. No, I've had people tell me they've booby trapped by taking fence boards or 2x4s and driving screws, nails, broken glass, you know, whatever to try to stop them from coming through until somebody can come patch the fence. And normally they tell me cover it in leaves. I'm like, well, I'm not walking over there. You know, I mean, even though I've got steel toe boots on, I'm not walking back there. But if I can see the hole for him standing at, get a picture, I'm out, you know? And I said, you know, you just added a couple $100 to that quote. You know that, right?
Yeah, because now you got to buy a new pair of breeches.
That's right. That's right. He's lucky I didn't tear a hole in my favorite jacket.
Yeah.
Okay, that's been discontinued because then it would have really got expensive for him. You know? But no, it was and that was kind of my first experience with that. It was so bad that when we went to patch the holes, my crew wouldn't even get out of the truck until I showed up to disarm them.
So the guy still didn't remove them before you went out?
Well, there was one on that tree, and on the other side where the other two holes were, there were two of them set up. So no matter which hole you went to, you were going to set off a 12-gauge shotgun shell.
At least it wasn't claymores or something, you know, because they were just blanks, right?
No, I asked him that question. They were not blanks. No, I said, now look, man, tell me that you took the BBs out. And he goes, oh man, that was just a light bird shot. I said, you are freaking kidding me, dude. You are kidding me.
That's a pretty good. So put some rock salt in there.
I called my wife and said, I love you, baby. I called her. I said, you don't understand what I just went through. My heart was pounding. I was sweating. I mean, it's 30 degrees outside. And I was sweating bullets.
I mean, it's a good thing the guy wasn't very good at aiming it.
It was aiming down. It was zip tied to a tree.
Oh, so he wasn't trying to shoot the person. He was just trying to scare him. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. But I mean, ricochet.
Yeah.
It very easily could have happened.
Right. Golly. And was that the same place that you found the nail in the board? Or
we're not going to talk about that.
Okay. So
I wasn't going to bring that up.
Oh, okay.
I love you, dude. I would never.
I have the board over there.
I know. I was looking for it right now.
I have the board. I went back and got the board that I stepped on.
I know. I asked him and I said, why is there a board with nails
in
it?
Don't throw it away.
I was like, it looks like a torture device.
It was.
It was buried in leaves. Kenny. It was buried in leaves, and I stepped on it and went right through my boot.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
If you want an immediate service call from Memphis Fence Company from Kenny McKernan, please disarm your booby traps before you call us,
or at least let us know where they are.
Just tell us where they are. I mean,
a warning is at least give us a warning. So I want to ask a question. Do you have any examples? This is really putting you on the spot. Do you have any examples of a moment that maybe changed your outlook on Memphis Fence or the fence industry that made you stay? Could be another day, another week, another year, whatever.
Have you
ever been to the point of this is the last day I'm willing to do this job?
Yes, many times, because it can be very stressful. And it's not that the company itself puts the stress on you. It's you doing it to yourself is sometimes what it is. Sometimes it just feels really overwhelming because a lot of times it's so fast paced. It is so demanding, and you want to be able to please everybody. In the back of your mind, you're always thinking, am I doing a good enough job? Am I doing my job well enough today? Okay. And, of course, life gives you distractions, but you kind of try to hope that you're doing your very best. But yes, it can be stressful. Multiple times I've thought about hanging my fence pliers up and saying I've had enough, but I mean, I just really, it's just staying as busy as we are all the time. Just go, 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 go. It's never boring. It's just, it's definitely a fit for me. I can say that's for sure. I enjoy the fast pace of it.
And so with the breakdowns and the maintenance manager, I think is what Alyssa called you too.
I'm not using that term, by the way. I'm not taking that.
Just so you know, I've been advocating for hiring a person for that job.
Because if you give me another title, you know what that means, right?
What's that?
It means more money.
Well,
so keep calling me the
we're just going to get you
ponying it up.
We're going to get you a 4x6 business card so we can fit all the things on it that you do.
That's right.
No, and I don't do it for me again. I just try to make sure the guys have what they need.
I was gonna say most of this stress, like you said, is self-induced because of your desire to have that level of customer service that you want to provide.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I can say that is true.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's good. It's good. So, I mean, that's why it works. So, do we have have you read any other questions or anything on here you might want to ask?
Me, no.
Nah. So we talked about,
What
sorry,
about
listeners.
You want to ask? You want to talk? You want to
hold on.
impart some wisdom on the audience?
Hold on. I want to we've talked about this within the past few days of how, I think it was me and you, about how I've tried to hire someone to do this maintenance deal.
Zach was just talking about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You've been trying
the thing
for
y'all
years.
just mentioned, like I'm
down to try. How about that?
Try it. Do it.
You know?
Go find somebody.
Try.
Yeah.
Anyone listening.
And the yard too. And the yard.
Anyone listening.
That would probably be the most ideal position. Find somebody that could just
Do
literally
both.
just somebody that let's just say they have a good valid driver's license. Okay. And
Yeah.
One of our crew needs, for some reason, they shorted themselves 2 ball bar arms to finish the job. And they're 30 minutes away. Well, they lose an hour.
Yeah.
Dash.
Yeah.
You know, hey,
Don't talk about that on here.
just get in a pickup truck, take it to the cruise. Or they had
Sure.
or it's happened before, drop a post off the back of the truck on your extension cord, snap your extension cord in half. Well, I can't finish this job because my extension cord just snapped in half. Accident, didn't do it on purpose. That person could jump in the truck and go take it to them and then come back and work the yard, clean up, pull customers,
Sure.
fill gates. You know, it's hard to find somebody that is willing, that has the drive
I
to do
think
something like that.
Kind of what we want is work on the yard, clean up,
Yes.
help with filling gates, pulling customers, all of that stuff. Do the deliveries like you're talking about. But then
Enter
also
my POs in QuickBooks.
You're terrible at that.
also be able to do some like really basic maintenance.
Yeah.
You know, grease a machine,
Blow out the air filters.
blow out the air filters.
Right.
That air filter this weekend lost 27 pounds when I blew it out. So
Spark plugs and oil change on a welder.
yeah,
I mean-
Or, you know, you got a crew that, you know, doesn't realize their spark plug broken and that's why it won't run right.
That's right.
yeah,
You know,
all of those little things. That would be awesome to find.
Can put an
somebody that-
engine in a 1986 Honda Accord, but can't change a spark plug in their welder.
Yeah, that's weird. Oh, also, like, you know, I don't know, late 80s, early 90s F-250. You got
Swap
a new
motor-
engine. Yeah.
Motor swap, but
Yeah,
when it comes to company equipment, I don't know what a spark plug is.
that's right. It's weird how that works.
fuel, fire, and oil. First three things
Right.
you check.
That's right. That's right.
If one of those things is not the problem, I'm taking it to the shop.
Sure.
Okay. I mean, I'll check those 3 items. After that, it's time to go.
But yeah, I like the equipment manager that way. So, you know, you got to go out with a jackhammer and somehow we can't find any of the 4 jackhammers,
Right.
you know?
That happens
can't
every single
Don't understand how
freaking
that
day.
happens.
And it never fails. Somebody's going to walk in my office. We need to buy another one of these. Like, how many of these things do we need to buy? You know?
Well, it doesn't help that 2 of them have been broken in the corner for 6 months and nobody said anything.
Equipment manager is
know.
going to handle these things. That's who this person is now.
Yep.
So
And
This
I'm on it.
mythical person that does not exist, right?
I'm on it.
Mythical person
They're out there. And
somewhere.
he's in kindergarten right now. So just wait a bit.
Right.
That's a good one.
After
That's a
the
good one.
This summer, we're putting them to work.
right, that's right. Once the fad of, gamer or YouTuber, which we're on a podcast, so that's kind of a funny concept.
Yeah.
But once this fad of podcaster YouTuber goes away, we'll get some tradesmen in here.
Yeah. Oh man, I think it's all a pendulum. Like I have that question in here,
Right.
about like trades. And then, so, I mean, we just went through the whole thing of everybody had to go to college and nobody went into trades. And now I think it's going to swing back the
You
other
got
way.
a couple of young guys, right? Aren't you working a few young guys?
I've got.
Darian's pretty young. Courtney's pretty young.
They're both pretty young. Yeah. Yeah.
And then is that it? That stuck around? But out of like 5 20-something-year-old dudes, you've kept 2.
I think so.
So
Well,
that's
how-
pretty good.
How many did we hire to get 5 to
Oh,
show
dude.
up?
100
All of
maybe. I mean, that's.
I honestly have been going. I just hire everybody.
No,
I'm
that's
just
that's
hiring.
what Zach and I decided one day. And we are like, you know what? Every person that walks in the door and applies, we're just going to hire them. we're going to offer them a job right here.
See if they
If
stick
they're
around.
willing to show up here and ask if we're hiring somebody, yep, we are.
We
We're
are.
hiring you.
Show up
good
here
attitude.
tomorrow at 7 a.m. I pretend like I'm doing an interview. I'm like, I don't even.
We're just going to stand here and like make it official, make you nervous, I guess, for a little bit. I don't know. I mean, just walk in. Hold on. Let me check your pulse. All right. Yep.
Yep,
Fill
go
out
to
this
work.
paperwork. Let's
Go
do
to
it.
work. Yep.
Here's your pliers. Don't lose them. You're going to give Donnie a fit. All right. So Zach asked you and I interrupted, but is there anything else you want to talk about? Any questions or comments or?
No, I don't really have any. I mean, you guys asked me to be here. I figured you guys would be the ones asking the questions.
We did, man. I mean,
What did you think this was going to be like before you got over here?
I had no idea. I never got the memo. I didn't know. I had no idea what this was going to consist of, to be honest with you. All day I was checking my emails. I'm like, all right, I got it. No,
do you watch or listen to podcasts at all?
well,
You ever?
to be fair, I only found out at what 4:30 that you were coming back to do this. So
I mean, it was about
right.
4:05.
Dude, you killed it. No memo, killed it. It was really.
No, I think it was great.
Yeah,
I think
perfect.
the show went awesome.
Yeah, I don't know if we
I
could
know.
have
I
done any
think
better.
Kenny needs to be back.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Kenny's going to be a recurring visitor.
No, I sure hope not.
Yeah.
I got better things to do. I got to go
So-
sell some fence.
Do you watch or listen to podcasts by chance?
I don't listen to any of them.
Me, not ours or anywhere. No podcast.
I've
never.
watched Randy's podcast that was on here.
I don't.
All right.
I don't.
That's
really,
the only. You can be honest. He's the only one that I've watched.
when Dan started, I've never been asked to be on this podcast. By the way, it's just been assumed that I was on the show. So, and I've been on it ever since. I guess.
Hey Zach,
as
will
the
you be on a
other-
podcast with me?
So he can stop using this
Yeah,
story.
I'm tired of hearing this. This is
well, he's
that
never going to let you
story.
forget it now. You know that, right?
Until the talk of
Oh, he-
podcast, I had not really listened. to
Did
the
I ever?
podcast.
Did I ask you to go to Vegas, or did that
Yeah,
just
you said it-
organically happen?
No,
Too?
you
No,
asked.
we brought him
Okay.
into the
It was a
office
big
and
deal.
asked.
It was a big deal. That was a big deal.
We made you like fill out some paperwork or something.
Crickets, please.
I said,
I know. It's just dead silence. I mean,
Well,
All
I
right.
thought he
Come
was
on, pay
going to
attention.
fill that one. No, all I said is, okay, you should probably ask your wife.
Right.
That was all.
I said, yeah. And then Alyssa said, as a wife, you should ask your wife.
and you're like,
Nah.
that's kind of
Look
what I
out,
think.
Vegas.
Dead
Here we
man
come.
Oh.
walking.
Hey,
Honey, break out my legless shorts. We're going to Vegas.
the legless swimming trunks.
I've got a pair of those. Got a pair
Do
of those.
do you really
only-
legless?
I don't even know what they are. I'm just playing.
Oh,
I have no idea what they are.
Wait, you've seen Speedos? Those are swimming trunks with no
Look,
legs.
I told my buddy that. I
Oh,
said,
didn't even- right over my
I told
head.
him I
Didn't even
kept
catch that one.
threatening to wear legless shorts to the pool in Vegas, and he said, "What the hell are legless shorts?" And I was like, "Whatever."
So like the shorts Donnie always talks about that he wore to school in high
Yes.
school.
That's right.
That
I said,
you know, from missing the bus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said, "Whatever the hell you think they are." He said, "So like a belt?" And I was like, "I guess that's it.
Batman utility belt.
Guess that's what I'm wearing to the pool in Vegas."
I saw
He's
a
got
pool.
the tan lines to prove it.
Yeah,
You
All right.
pool.
yeah,
Nice.
I saw a pool there, but we never went to one.
Mm-mm.
Did you guys do anything interesting other than the trade show while you
Oh,
were
we
there?
did a lot of interesting things.
Well, name something.
We hitchhiked with
uh,
TVs and TV stands across the town of Las Vegas to get back to the trade show. That was pretty interesting.
How many vehicles did you hitchhike?
Just the
all
one.
of them.
Okay, you attempted all of them, but only
Yeah.
one stopped.
We hired Ubers, we hired Lyfts. So when we were inside the store, I just randomly asked people, like, will you give us a ride back?
Attention all customers. I am Dan Turbyville of Memphis Fence Company, MFC Manufacturing in Sao Paulo. I am willing to give any strange person $50 to drive us to the nearest event
Yep,
space
yep.
with these two large TVs. And,
And
everyone just looked around like,
yeah, it was, hold on, cue the crickets, because that's what we heard. Yeah. And then we go outside.
Excuse me, sir, you're in the way. I'm trying to get my pickup
Oh,
order.
for real. One dude got so mad. Yeah, one guy got so mad at me. Well,
So-
I guess at the whole situation. I don't know. But
Well,
anyways,
I'll be honest with you, it's not the first time Dan had to hitchhike.
oh, we don't have to talk about it.
Oh, we can talk about that one
Let's-
because that was a good
let's-
one.
Let's dive into that because I don't
People
know that.
always talk. So I haven't drank in 5 years. Whatever story Kenny's going to tell you is probably from 15 years ago.
No, but I mean, we just met, what, 17 years ago?
Okay.
So that kind of makes sense.
So maybe it was from 16 and a half years ago.
I knew
Okay.
this was coming.
Oh, this is
coming.
Well, he
terrible.
said hitchhiking.
This is the
we
worst.
we had to hitchhike home one time from an STP concert.
Oh, that's not such a bad story.
It's not a bad story.
No. Yeah, so
Is
we
this,
found we actually didn't hitchhike home. We hitchhiked back here.
Here, that's right.
So
That's right.
yeah,
Is this the truck broke down story?
yeah,
The lifted.
The rear end went out in it.
yeah, and we were riding in the truck on the back of the rollback to a concert, and then we hitchhiked from the concert back to here.
It was
That's good
great.
shit.
Well,
Yeah.
the first overpass we came to, I was in the back seat and Dan and Jack were in the front seat. And I looked up the overpass. I said, this is going to be great. I said, guys, watch out, watch out. And they both looked and it's like, and they ducked. And I was in the back seat dying and laughing.
So this was I had a big F-250 that was lifted and all this stuff, and we were in the truck on the back of a rollback riding to the concert. So we were pretty high in the air.
We were.
And we pulled up to the front door, and like, you're cool if you pull up to the front door in a limousine or whatever, but I mean, I don't think you've ever been cool unless you pulled up in a lifted F-250 on the back of a rollback to a concert.
Oh,
Like, that's
we're talking about an F-250 on 42s, I think, at the time.
yeah.
Okay, so we're having to climb down with jump out of it with a parachute before we hit the ground off the back of this rollback, and then walk and just strut into the concert.
Nice.
Like nothing happened.
And then
Yeah.
we honestly figured when we leave, there's going to be some taxis. You know, it's not
Mm.
going to be that big a deal. No taxis. I mean, this was before.
Yeah, there was no Uber. There was no
Uber,
Lyft.
There was
There
no
was
Lyft. And then we're like, what do we do? And I was like, well, start asking people who wants, 50 or 60 bucks. How much cash do we have? And we're all pulling out cash. Had about 60 bucks. And this one guy said, hey, man, I walked up to him. I said, man, will you please give us a ride back to Memphis? I'm heading through. Come on, man. Jump in the van. So we're like, got a
Nice.
creepy van. Let's get in here and take a ride back to Memphis. But yeah,
Yep.
cool.
So that wasn't. That was exciting. That was interesting.
that wasn't a bad story.
No, it wasn't.
No, it's good.
There's
It's
definitely
good.
worse that you could tell.
I'm not going to do that on the podcast. Okay. Not today.
So, yeah, we did lots of cool things in Vegas, man. It was pretty neat.
Rode
But I
a
was
roller
gonna,
coaster
You rode a roller coaster?
inside of that
indoors.
went inside a casino.
yeah.
Did
which
you
is
did
pretty-
you gamble any money at the casino?
Oh yeah,
How much did you win?
$800.
Really?
So we went the first night we were there. We went walking around, put $100 on a roulette table, and I put it on 4 different spots, and one of them hit, and they handed me 900 back, and I was like, "All right,
Let's
cool,
get the hell out of here.
yeah,
That's right. One and done.
that's it. Scratch that itch. Let's go."
There you go.
Should we try again? I don't think so.
That
That was the
That was-
the one
that was like our food budget for half the day.
for half the day.
Dude, everything there was so expensive.
Did you go to an all you can eat buffet while you were there?
One time, I think. Breakfast.
Oh yeah, the breakfast thing.
Was
Yeah.
there
It
anything
was-
anything unique that stood out that was like, yeah, you can't get that in Memphis?
I tried
All
some
of it.
weird. It was like a rice burrito thing. It's like the part on the outside was made from rice. It was some
Okay.
kind of a breakfast thing with maybe egg yolks inside and sweet rice, like rice pudding wrapped
What?
in a rice pancake.
What was the
I had
thing
no idea
that I
what it
sent you the
was.
picture of? Remember, I sent you the picture. There was like the whole case or the whole like middle of the buffet was all like sweets of
Yeah,
some
yeah.
sort.
I don't know what it was, but yeah.
Like Danishes, donuts.
No, I mean,
No,
like-
like dessert type
Yeah.
stuff.
What are those? little-
Macarons.
Yeah, there we go.
Tons of macarons in every flavor.
macaroons.
Both. Those are two different things.
And they
Oh, I
had
didn't know.
You
they
gotta ask-
also
my daughter's way into it.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
they also
and they're
had
really
macaroni.
really hardcore about
For
it.
breakfast.
Yeah, they had macarons.
They had a
macaronis.
poke. They had a poke bowl station, which poke is getting real big in Memphis right now. I don't know if y'all do poke.
No,
But-
don't even.
I don't even know
It's
what that is.
basically if you just took a
You could make a
sushi
joke
and-
about poke.
I just found out
but-
what boba is.
right. So in the places where there's boba, there's probably poke because
Okay.
it kind of goes hand in hand.
Okay.
So what is it?
It's
I don't know
basically,
any of these things.
It's basically like a sushi salad. So take the
Take
ingredients.
the rice out.
The rice goes on top of it's a bowl. So it's like turn.
Mm.
All right, let me see if I can do this. What tacos are to taco salad, sushi is to poke.
Okay.
that work?
Makes sense. Yeah.
Y'all do English?
Yeah. I think you were just speaking pig Latin, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
We're gonna have some poke for lunch on Friday.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
Name drop a restaurant, and maybe they'll sponsor.
poke.
Oh,
Poke.
we're still looking for a coffee sponsor if anybody's interested in that.
All right, boys.
Well, I didn't see any sugar-free options on the table for me, so
I know.
So-
I didn't even think about Kenny whenever
I'm
I
gonna-
ordered. I'm
gonna
sorry.
take
I
just a
apologize
quick-
about
fine,
that.
buddy. Don't worry about it.
Quick moment to observe that you mentioned Ilaria's not here, so
Yep.
we're gonna have to
That's why
pass.
sometimes when y'all order lunch, I don't put an order in because there's nothing on the menu I can eat.
Yeah, we're gonna have to skip the Italian. Oh, did you want to teach us some Italian?
Y'all didn't tell me what word y'all wanted to learn. in
Oh, she's
Italian.
pulling her phone out.
So
Oh.
Ilaria
So
is
let's
in
skip that
Italy
today.
currently, which is pretty cool. Our normal producer's in Italy. So Dan's wife Alyssa's filling in, who also is employed by Memphis Fence Company. She's that wonderfully
Keeping
sweet
it in the
voice
family.
we keep hearing up here.
She described herself yesterday as the peanut butter. She just fills in all the cracks.
The peanut butter of the company.
Right.
Company peanut butter.
So when we were doing the onboarding deal for Job Nimbus, he asked what she did.
Well,
and-
he asked what I did, like what my
Ca-
job
I
title
want to
was.
see a business card that says company peanut butter.
It's printing. It'll be here.
We should all have really cool job titles, like
Yeah.
the ornamental wizard.
Yeah.
I'm getting pretty close.
All right. Well, when you get it, we'll get it.
I don't
You
run-
earn it.
I'm gonna get Kenny an 8.5 by 11.
You better
and just
not.
start listing everything on
Don't.
it.
Don't.
Just
man,
get him
come
an
on.
LED shirt that just scrolls with all of the things.
Don't do
can-
that, guys.
My
Come on,
name
no.
is Kenneth McKernan. I can fix trailers and change trailer hubs and
It's so hard to take you seriously.
that's what I told that
sometimes.
guy. I said,
That's why
"This
you
is-
shouldn't ever
I said,
probably.
hey, Terry, this is Kenny, man. If you need anything, don't ask me. I'm only your boss. Ask Kenny.
And you know what the funny thing is? They do. Kenny, I've got an issue with the machine over here. What's going on with it? I got an issue over here. Hey, Kenny, I need a 100-foot tape because this, that, and the other. I'll go get you one.
Oh, so
Yeah.
Zach yesterday asked me about some drill that's in the cage. I was like, I don't know. Ask Kenny.
And I also want to plug in. There is another McKernan here, Donnie McKernan, who will be on the show, but
He actually, so he was, I guess, under the impression he was going to fill in because we
Well-
had joked around. We call him not Kenny.
not Kenny. But he is Kenny 2.0, and so I don't know how.
They have a lot of similarities.
They have a lot of similarities. And so we talk about how Kenny will stop what he's doing to help you. Well, let me just tell you, Donnie didn't think that Kenny would be able to make it. And so he asked if he needed to call his wife so that he could fill in for you. So it's
No,
that
I think he already did.
no, he
I-
said, do I need to call my wife?
Okay. I was under the impression that he did, and he was like planning to stay.
So you
But-
didn't have to tell him to call his wife.
No. But let me tell you. So we'll have Donnie on and you'll see a lot of similarities. That blood runs strong.
We definitely sound quite a bit alike. I think it was one of our automation installers that said that she came up here and met Donnie for the first time. And she said if she could close her eyes and just listen to him talk, she would have swore it was me.
Mm. Yep. Not Kenny.
Not Kenny.
And I'm not Donnie.
All right. An
Well,
hour and
folks-
18 minutes.
Well, folks, there
Is
you
that
have
good
it.
or is that bad?
That's good. I think that's just me saying we should probably stop.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, everybody's probably asleep at home right now.
we want to have you back. It's been great.
Okay.
It's been a good show.
Let's
been
do
fun.
this after football season stops.
I don't know when that is, but cool.
Uh,
Square deal.
I'll get back to you on that one.
Sounds good. It depends on how good they do.
It depends. I'm hoping my son makes it to the playoffs.
Okay.
I'm talking about PB football, by the way.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I don't watch sports at all. So,
Us working folks don't have too much time for that.
no, sir.
All right. Well, thanks for watching. It's been fun.
Thank you, Kenny, for coming.
Oh, you guys
Thank
are very
you
welcome. Thanks for
joining
having me.
us, all you powerhousers. It looks like Josh Cumby's our biggest fan. I appreciate you. getting
Thanks,
on here,
Josh.
man, and
Appreciate it,
hanging
buddy.
with
Thank
us.
you, Josh.
We're gonna have Josh on here too.
Yep, for sure.
Um,
He's
All right,
going to
Josh.
have a lot to
think
provide
so.
to the table for you guys.
So
on
we've
that.
already kind of told Donnie, not Kenny, that he could be next. I think after that we should do Josh.
cool.
Yeah. So Josh, what month is it? It's September.
September. Yeah.
All right.
We-
So
Have him on in October.
so we try to do the like meet the team thing once a month. So
Okay.
probably have Donnie in October, and then we'll do Josh in November.
Okay.
So that'll be the plan. And then football season's over.
Hopefully, yeah.
All right. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, everybody. See you
Appreciate it,
next time.
guys.
See ya.
Bye.
All right.